Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ranger Gareth podcast. I'm your host, Gareth, and this one's going to be a little bit of a departure from some of the previous topics that were more environmentally focused, but I feel like for a lot of my listeners, this is going to be something that will be very helpful, and it is discussing burnout. We are in the late stages of the pandemic now. It's been going on for about a year, and the lockdowns, they come and they go. Some people's employment is a bit unstable. Some of us have been employed the entire time, and I'm very lucky for that. But one of the side effects of having to navigate the pandemic while working full-time has been burnout. I am definitely, well, I'm a little over it now, but there was a period of time there where I was definitely suffering from some pretty serious burnout. And for different people, burnout can show up in different ways. It is defined as work-related stress leading to physical and emotional exhaustion. It is not a medical diagnosis. Everyone experiences it differently. For me, it was a lot of random irritability, snapping at things that I don't normally snap at. For those of you that know me, I'm usually pretty laid back unless I'm gaming or not catching fish. But other than that, I'm usually pretty chill. But over the last few months, I started getting irritated at things that didn't normally irritate me. And I knew I was suffering when I was working, and I went to grab a quick snack, and I got in the patrol truck, went to drive away, and the snack fell and spilled all over the truck, and I almost lost my shit. And then I was like, wait, why am I yelling at a literal bag of spilled candy? So that's when I realized I need to scale it back and stop saying yes to every bit of overtime I get, because I was definitely not focusing on the work-life balance. I'm a bit of a workhorse, so for me, I usually just work whenever I have the opportunity. But I realized I needed to take a step back. So some of the symptoms of burnout, again, not a medical diagnosis, but this is more of a colloquial thing. You start to notice that you're cynical or critical at work. You have trouble getting started. You lack motivation. You're irritable or impatient with others. You lack energy. It's hard to concentrate. You lack satisfaction from your achievements. If you've been working on a project for a long time and the project is finally over and you just kind of shrug it off, either you don't like your job that much, or maybe you're suffering from some burnout. Feeling disillusioned, using food, drugs, or alcohol to alter mood. Changes in sleep habits, unexplained physical ailments like headaches, stomach aches. You guys are probably familiar with the old Hollywood trope of people that withhold all their stress, developing ulcers. Kind of the same thing with burnout. Some of the possible causes of burnout include a lack of control or an inability to influence decisions. If you're a frontline worker who keeps getting directives from above that don't necessarily make sense, and you try and speak up about it and you kind of get steamrolled, that's definitely part of it. Unclear job expectations. I'm sure for a lot of us, our jobs have changed quite a bit since we started working however many years ago. And with the new health orders rolling out all the time, especially for those in the healthcare and the law enforcement fields, but pretty much any frontline worker, we're getting new directives all the time. Okay, well, now we need to enforce these rules. And okay, well, now you can have X number of people, but they have to travel in separate cars. Like, we're all having to adjust very quickly. And sometimes, if you miss one email, you're behind the curve. Dysfunctional workplace dynamics. Luckily, I don't have that issue, but I'm sure a lot of us have toxic coworkers. And I feel bad for you, because if they were toxic before the pandemic, it's probably extra bad now. Extremes of activity. So it's either super monotonous or super chaotic. You go from sitting all day doing nothing for 3 weeks, and then suddenly, everything's on fire. You got to do this, you got to do that. And yeah, it can be very stressful. Like, you kind of settle into a routine. Lack of social support, work-life imbalance. As I was saying earlier, definitely a big fan of work. I have a great job, but I was doing too much of it, and I have too many different hobbies. So trying to balance all of that, it was getting exhausting. Like, there's all the work, and then there's trying to work out, which really fell off that just really dropped off recently. And then reading and learning all these new things. Like, I'm diving deep into the world of cryptocurrency and investing lately, and like just trying to balance all that with learning how to ice fish. Like, cryptocurrency and ice fishing, they're very, very different, and they both have very steep learning curves. But getting back to burnout, job burnout risk factors. You identify so strongly with work that it affects your work-life balance. I have a couple coworkers who I've had to set boundaries with because they would give me a call after work, like, hey, so what do you think of this project? And I'd be like, hey, we're not getting paid for this right now, so let's just talk about it tomorrow during work hours. And like, it's great to be proud of your job. It's great to be happy with what you're doing, but don't take it home with you unless you're getting paid to take it home with you. High workload, including overtime. You can't see it, but I'm raising my hand. That was definitely me. Trying to be everything to everyone. Job being monotonous. Not an issue for me, but I'm sure for a lot of people, if your job is, and I'm not saying this to denigrate you, but just stacking cans all day or sitting in an office doing the same thing every day, like that could definitely suck your soul. You have little or no control over your work. And some of the consequences of burnout include excessive stress, fatigue, insomnia, sadness, anger, irritability, alcohol or substance misuse, heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and vulnerability to illnesses. I'm surprised it's not also a carcinogen, but maybe it is. So a couple different strategies to try and handle job burnout. Evaluate your options. Discuss your specific concerns with your supervisor. Is your workload too high, or is it too low, or do you just need something different? Maybe talk to your supervisor. They might have a different project on the side that you could assist with. Seek support. Reach out to your coworkers, friends, loved ones. I have a great team of coworkers. We speak very frankly with each other when we're stressed, when we're having issues. We are very comfortable speaking about that with each other. For those of you that look at work, friends and loved ones, they're called loved ones for a reason. Try a relaxing activity like yoga, meditation, tai chi, fishing, going for a walk, just whatever activities you have in your life that make you feel good. I know we've talked about some of the things that I like to do in previous episodes, and I'm sure all of you have just little things that you do that instantly relax you. As long as it's not, drinking yourself to sleep. But yeah, just any kind of relaxing activity, something that's healthy and low impact. Get some exercise. Obviously, harder with all the gyms closed. Like I mentioned a little earlier, I fell into a bit of a slump when it came to working out. And I recently re-downloaded the Track Yoga app, and I'm trying to get back into that because sitting in a truck all day with a duty belt and a vest on, an extra 30-ish pounds of gear in a truck, sitting most of the day because it's minus 30 outside, not good for your body. Just sitting all day, not good for your back. Get some sleep. Melatonin definitely helps with my insomnia. And I wouldn't say my insomnia is burnout related. I've had insomnia since I was like 14, 15. Just weird brain chemicals, but melatonin has helped quite a bit. They sell them in like tasty fruit gummies, little mint tablets, or just regular pills, but some people use valerian, some people use other things, but I found melatonin worked great. And then one of the terms that has become so popular in the last decade, mindfulness, focusing on breath work, all of that stuff. I'm a big fan of the Wim Hof method. For those of you that haven't heard of him, Wim Hof is, I believe, Dutch, but he's just a breathwork master. He is, he's the kind of guy that literally just through sheer force of will and interesting breathing techniques can ignore the cold, raise his core body temperature. He's the guy that summited Kilimanjaro, I believe, in shorts. He ran a half marathon above the Arctic Circle barefoot. Just a very interesting guy, but yeah, definitely look into some of the breath work. Other than that, I hope all of you take care of yourselves. Just wanted to thank Brian J. Nelson one more time for the intro and outro music. I hope you're doing great down in the States, bud. Adios.